Chapter 6 105 Hideous Demon. As Sonny was walking toward the next enclosure, he had a few seconds to think. The first thing he realized was that, despite the fact that the spell remained silent, he had in fact received the shadow fragments from the 3 dread wolves. The feeling of his cores, and thus body, growing a tiny bit stronger, was there, even though it was hard to sense the minuscule change in all the chaos. Strange. This is also strange. His connection to the spell seemed to be gone, cut by the steel collar on his neck, and yet not all of his powers disappeared. Sonny couldn't access his soul sea and summon memories or runes, but he still possessed the ability to absorb fragments. He was also able to command his shadows to augment his body, as well as use Shadow Step, even though its range seemed to be limited by the walls of the arena. What did it all mean? Well, from the look of it, while the spell was gone, his aspect remained. There was a lot of meaning hidden in this simple fact, but Sonny had no time to unpack it. What else was his aspect capable of? Walking under the rusty gate, Sonny hesitated for a split second, and then summoned the Soul Serpent. A moment later, almost unnoticeable on his obsidian skin, an intricate tattoo of a coiling serpent appeared, wrapped around his arms and torso. When Sonny sent shadow essence coursing through it, the coils shone with dark radiance, revealing themselves for everyone to see. His lips moved, revealing powerful fangs and a frightening grin. "So you are here as well, buddy." What did it mean? It meant that Sonny didn't have to fight unarmed anymore. It also meant that Saint was with him as well. He might not have been the most deadly of creatures at the moment, still unaccustomed to this new lumbering body. But the two of them? Together, Sonny and Saint were a duo most fearsome. Full of new confidence, he entered the second killing box, sending his shadow sense forward to encompass it. What he saw there made him squint a little. There was already a battle going on in the enclosure, a pair of humans desperately trying to fight off a swarm of small, swift, lizard-like creatures. Both of them wore white tunics, the younger one unarmed, while the older one had a simple sword in his hands and a leather cuirass protecting his torso. There were several human corpses laying on the ground, terribly disfigured by the sharp claws and triangular fangs of the abominations, with their once white clothes soaked in blood. Sonny shifted his gaze and saw the vile darkness spreading through the souls of the lizard-like gremlins. From the look of it, they were all awakened, the same as the wolves he had fought. Sonny measured the strength of the monsters during the battle and judged their rank to be the same as his. The younger man was an awakened as well, with a single radiant soul core, while the older one had none at all. He was a mundane human. As Sonny watched, the older warrior was finally overwhelmed and fell to the ground, the gremlins easily tearing through his cuirass and sinking their claws and teeth into the soft flesh beneath. The young man screamed and dashed to help him, but it was already too late. Even though the awakened youth managed to kill several beasts with his fists and pushed the others away, his partner was already mortally wounded. He shuddered, a river of blood flowing from a ghastly gash in his neck, and weakly pushed the hilt of the sword into the younger man's hands. The crowd went wild, happily chanting the same damned word. "Glory, glory, glory." The last surviving human raised his head, pain and sorrow mixing with hatred in his light blue eyes. He didn't get to dwell on his loss for long, though, because the remaining gremlins were already rushing to tear him apart. Some, however, found a new target. Sonny grunted and tried to control his body as precisely as possible. He didn't command the Soul Serpent to assume the form of a weapon, or summon Saint yet, preferring to keep his cards hidden. For now. The lizard-like abominations did not seem too dangerous in any way, at least not with their remaining numbers and their attention split between 2 targets. Curses. The 4-armed demon's gaunt body was too tall, heavy, and unwieldy. Every motion required more effort, and was slower than he was used to, even though there was inhuman strength in the shadow creature's steel muscles, which was supposed to translate into explosive speed. Dragging so much mass around was still different from operating a small and slim human body he had possessed before. Who would have thought that I would miss being short one day? 4 gremlins jumped at Sonny at the same time, more of them lagging a second behind. Their narrow eyes shone with rabid bloodlust, and their jagged claws were aimed at his flesh, lusting to rip it apart. Wrapped in shadows, with the coils of the soul serpent shining darkly on his skin, Sonny took a step forward and caught all 4 creatures from the air, then slammed their skulls against each other, crushing them. Even though he was having trouble controlling his new body, how could these beasts ever hope to survive a battle against a demon? And a very special one, at that. Sonny bared his teeth and lunged forward, a low growl escaping from his mouth. His 4 arms moved, crushing flesh and bone. Several beasts managed to slip past his assault and sink their claws into his thighs, one even trying to bite off a big chunk of flesh. Sonny hissed from pain and crouched, using his claws to rip 4 more gremlins apart. There was no free hand to finish off the last one, so he simply bit off its arm with his sharp fangs, feeling the bone crunch and the disgusting taste of corrupted blood on his tongue. "Ah, I'm going to vomit." Sonny spit a mouthful of fetid, dark blood and silenced the shrieking creature with a bone-shattering backhand slap. Suddenly, the box became deathly silent. He groaned, overwhelmed by pain for a moment. The damned abominations had died rather easily, but not before doing a lot of damage. He might have overestimated his newfound prowess, or underestimated the gremlins due to their small stature and frail frames. The irony. Sonny gritted his teeth, this time careful not to pierce his own lips by doing so, then wiped his face and straightened. Finally, he glanced in the direction of the remaining group of abominations. To his surprise, they were already dead. The young awakened had slaughtered them with the sword somehow, and was now standing there motionlessly, frozen stiff by fear. The youth was staring at him with a pale face, eyes wide with terror. Then he took an unsteady step back and whispered, Oh gods, Lord, protect me against the hideous demons of the night." Sonny looked down at him from his immense height, his cobalt-black body covered in terrible wounds and blood, more streaming from between his sharp fangs. He suppressed the desire to roll his eyes. Hideous, rude,